Okay, so this is the way this goes now. This is going to be hooked to this. This will be hooked to the board, and this one red wire is the pinpoint wire. And this pinpoint wire has to be connected to this side of the pinpoint switch, right there, that terminal right there. The reason I don't need two of them is because that happens to go to a board ground, and I'm picking up the ground on this side, so I don't need to have a separate wire. If you do a separate cord, you have to have a wire across both of them. But for my particular modification, all I need is just one wire connected there and run back to where it connects into this. Okay, that's how she goes. So I'll go ahead and wire that in there and show you how I run that down the board. I like it. Okay, this has got to run back to the back of the board here, and it's got to run without interfering with any of these switches. So the way I do that is pretty simple. I mean, they've made it pretty easy for me. They've actually given me the means to make this happen. What I'll do is I'll just make a little groove in that hot glue that they put around that switch, and just lay my wire right in there. That works pretty good. And then this goes around inside here, goes up on the other side, and away we go. I could show you which ones these are supposed to go to, but then where would the mystery be, you know? Yeah, baby. And then the last one goes into here. Nice. And that looks like that on the front of the board, which is just really clean. I like that. That appears to be wired up correctly. Okay, then we'll go ahead and hook these guys up. Let's see, these are the power leads. We'll just wire these guys into here. Alright, that is your board wired up, with the exception of the pinpoint switch. That's these two guys right here. I'll wire those together and put some heat shrink on that and tuck those down in between those two capacitors. And that, my friend, will be that. We'll be ready to reassemble this mother. Okay, the drill here is to when you're putting this thing back together again, got to make sure that all these things are in line. All these little switch or potentiometer actuators are all in line. Yeah, they look pretty good. Clean out some of the old silicone that's in there. And I will be putting new silicone on here. Okay, so these are straight. Now I got to make sure these are all straight. These all have to go counterclockwise, just like they were when we took them out. And that looks pretty good. Now this is tricky. believe it or not, this is not that easy to get this mother back in there. Before I do that, I got to put the gel packs back in. Okay. It's pretty important to have these things in here. They're going to suck up whatever residual moisture that happens to get in here. Shouldn't be getting any residual moisture, but you know, if there is any, that should suck it out. Okay, then holding this thing into the slot, and then going back in again like I did before, just slightly clockwise until I get it to about that point. Then I go ahead and rotate it into place and push them in. Yeah, that worked good. And I'll go ahead and lock it in place with one of these knobs. And I'll go ahead and add a little silicone to that into the inside of this thing as before I hook it up nice and clean. And then we'll push them back in again and put the set screws back in. You don't have to tighten these very tight. There are no threads in the barrel. All the threads are in the end cap. All these set screws do is just key it in there. So just snug is good enough. In fact, snug is probably more than you need. You actually just need to get it down below the level of the end of the pod. There you go. Looking good. And we'll put this guy back on here. This is a brand new little end cap. I'll glue this guy on with a little bit of silicone sealant rather than glue it on with something really something that's going to vulcanize it. So in case you want to take it off again, you can. Makes it a lot easier. So that's nice. That's nice. All right, the other end is similar to the way we took it off. And I resoldered this little connection here. Okay. That's good. And we'll heat it back up a little bit. Okay. Okay, and then this is tricky. I gotta put this little connector right here back on that little chassis connector right there. Chassis. Just plug onto that connector. That's tricky. But you know, that's why I make the big money. Here we go. Just like that. And then this is, like I said, it's tricky. You just gotta kind of reach up in there. It has to be angled just right. There we go. Just like that. See that? Click nicely into place. And that's one. And that's two. Okay, that, my friends, is it. That is finito. It's a done dealie. Earphones, pod, cable to the handle, pinpoint switch, cable to the coil. Just as simple as that. Instead of having the second cable coming out of here, it's all incorporated in this one piece of wire. Okay? That's how she goes.